Remember, a big hug says a lot.
Yeah.
You're watching KPTS, Channel 8.
Production and broadcast costs for Sedgwick County Commission meetings have been underwritten by Sedgwick County. KPTS welcomes comments from the public on its broadcast of the County Commission hearings. Viewers are invited to write to County Commission Broadcast, KPTS, 320 West 21st Street, Wichita, Kansas, 67203.
Good morning and welcome to the June 17th County Commission meeting. I'm Brittany Clampett and we're glad you're joining us. Of course, we take this time before the meeting just to tell you a little bit about what's going on around the county. As everyone I'm sure knows, this weekend is Father's Day, and so be sure you can head out to the Sedgwick County Zoo. They're having a Father's Day car show. It will take place on Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So grab your dad, or if your dad, grab your kids and head out to the zoo. Dads will be admitted free with a paying child. So you can find more information at scz.org. So a little auto, a little animal, and a whole lot of fun for everyone. So be sure you head out for that. Of course, later on in the agenda, we'll have contracts for household hazardous waste remote collections. We'll have two events on the next coming weekends. We'll have one this Saturday, June 20th, in Hayesville. It'll be in the Hayesville City parking lot at 200 West Grand in Hayesville, again, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then the next weekend, we'll have Saturday, June 27th. It will take place in Derby High School parking lot, located at 920 North Rock Road in Derby. You can find more information about those on our website, sedgwickcounty.org. It's free to all Sedgwick County households. You can find information again on the website about what you can and cannot bring. So a great way to get rid of some of that old paint, motor oil, antifreeze, fertilizers, pesticides, and a whole lot of other things. So be sure you go to our website and find more information about that. But for now, Commissioners, we'll just get the meeting started and we'll get going.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. With that, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Sedgwick County Commissioners for June 17, 2015. Madam Clerk, first item.
Invocation to be led by Dr. Lorraine Madway, WSU Special Collections Curator. Please remain standing for the flag salute.
Let us pray to God, the Creator of us all. We are here to ask your blessing on our elected leaders In a real sense, this means we ask your blessing on all of us, since the blessing of freedom has given each of us the opportunity to choose those who lead us. May we remember, above all, that to lead is to serve. Those who lead do not lift themselves high, they lift other people high. Let us be guided by the example of Moses at his best. He required his fellow Israelites to live up to the ethical and moral teachings that God revealed to all of them at Mount Sinai. So too may our leaders in this room teach us by example the leadership of service, to respect and honor others, to understand that humility means not to think less of ourselves, but to think of ourselves less, and to inspire one another to reach heights of behavior and accomplishment we might never have done otherwise. If we are true leaders, we do not lift ourselves high, we lift other people high. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, next item, please. Thank you very much.
Roll call. Commissioner Unruh,
Present.
Commissioner Norton,
Present.
Commissioner Howell,
Present.
Commissioner Peterjohn, Chairman Ransaw.
Present. Next item, please.
Consideration of minutes. Item A, regular meeting minutes of May 6, 2015.
Commissioners, you have the minutes before you. What's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of May 6, 2015.
I'd second that.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Next item.
Item B, regular meeting minutes of May 13, 2015.
I think this particular item we need to skip, or can we just skip it, or do we need to table this for till next meeting?
I think you can just table it till the next meeting.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion we would table item B, minutes from May 13th, 2015.
Second.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Next item, please.
Donations. Item C, acknowledge several memorial donations to the Sedgwick County Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marilyn Cook with ComCare. This item acknowledges several memorial donations made to the Sedgwick County Suicide Prevention Coalition following the suicide death of a local resident recently. Suicide continues to be a serious health concern, and locally as well as nationally. Sedgwick County Suicide Prevention Coalition has been working for more than 12 years on ways to educate the public on how to look at evidence-based practice approaches to suicide prevention interventions. The coalition will be presenting, they do every year, their annual report to you in the near future. But their initial findings show that there were 82 suicide deaths in Sedgwick County in 2014, or 16.4 per 100,000 population. You may remember that in the days after Robin Williams took his life in August of last year, in the news, they talked about crisis hotlines nationwide, and including here, reported a surge in calls. And while those are common in high-profile cases where people have taken their lives, the increase in calls following Robin Williams' death was both larger and longer lasting than any other case since the establishment of the National Prevention Lifeline in 2005. We took calls where people mentioned Robin Williams' death and the impact that had on them and their thought process for several months after his death last year. So the coalition is focusing this year on messaging about suicide and suicide prevention in a manner that is strategic and safe and positive and prevention focused. So we are recommending that you accept these donations and authorize the chairman to sign letters of appreciation.
Thank you, Marilyn. Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the donations and authorize the chair to sign a letter of appreciation.
I'd second that.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Next item, please.
Citizen inquiries. Item D, request to address the Board of County Commissioners regarding possible budget cuts.
Please give us your name and address for the record.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Abdul Arif. I'm the Executive Director of South Central Kansas Economic Development District. My address is 8214 Champions Court, Wichita, Kansas.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. I've had the opportunity to speak to some of you individually as in pairs in the months past to inform you about what SCED does. At the outset, SCED, the mission of SCED is to be an active participant in economic development in 14 counties. That's the core of what we do. And how we do it is through a variety of loan programs, which I will get into in a minute, and which has to do with small business lending, grant writing and administration, and a good part of our business has to do with weatherization of homes for low-income residents of Sedgwick County. Our operating budget, which I believe I had shared with you in the past, is right just shy of $1 million. And as you can see, our operating costs are about 25% of that. And the rest of it is a direct investment into the programs we operate. Currently, we have a portfolio of about 89 loans, which total approximately $3 million, and about $4.6 million invested in small business through the SBA 504, and approximately 24 active economic and community development projects. I might add, Sedgwick County's portion of the county's investment in our operating budget is about $84,000, or 36% of our operating cost. That breaks down to approximately 16 cents per resident per year. Our loan programs are, as you can see, there's a variety of them. I'm not going to go into a great detail unless you ask me. Suffice it to say, we have just about every loan program to fit the needs of an individual borrower. Oftentimes, we fund opportunities that bigger banks usually don't want to or unable to for whatever reason. Our microloan program, for instance, starts at $500, and our average microloan program is somewhere in the neighborhood of $14,000. And these are typically incredibly high-risk loans without any substantial collateral or credit history, but I'm happy to report to you that our default rate is a shockingly low 5%, and that is no big credit to our loan staff, Christy Henry, who's present here. She's a big part of being very proactive and making sure that the borrowers are up to speed and pay and are timely, and we're pretty engaged with them as times go by. I want to share with you some of our notable successes we've had in the past. For example, DJ Engineering was our loan customer some 25 years ago. He had borrowed about $20,000 in 1992 or 93, and now that company is worth, annual sales are over $100 million. And a substantial number of those employees, including the management and the owners, live in Sedgwick County and pay taxes, and obviously are a big part of the economic stimulus that this company provides. I might add, Wichita Business Journal recently ran a story about them that they had gotten a contract from Boeing to build parts for NASA, so this company is obviously going all kinds of places, and we hope to have more of those. The next one I'd like to share with you is Global Aviation Technologies. Candice Cotner and Woody are sitting right here. They started with us some time back, and they're up to 18 employees, and I'm sure they have every intention of becoming as big as DJ, or if not bigger, and we would like to be a big part of that success. And before you think that all we do is aviation, we actually do a lot of small business loans. Some of the examples that I can share with you is Rubin's Mexican Grill in Delano District, Pribina Variety Store, Mr. Ranzau. Tracy tells me you frequent that place quite often, and she specifically asked to mention this store to you, so you could be kind enough to support us. So a little bit of plug for her. And Cooper's Honey. Cooper's Honey, this is a very small business in rural Sedgwick County. Again, I have to emphasize to you the overall default rate is, again, very low, 5%. Some of the things that I've already touched upon is grant writing, grant research and administration, and some of the things we do help local municipalities prevent blight and slum, help projects that have some need created by a disaster when local funds are not available. Let me give you, we act as a liaison with private, state, and federal agencies to coordinate all resources. So this is not at all a duplication that other agencies do. We strive not to duplicate anything anybody else does. So we have some sort of a unique niche within all these organizations. Some of the examples I can share with you, just very recently, last Friday, we submitted a grant, E2E Accelerator. That's going to be located at Union Station. That's almost $1 million with $1 million of private funds matching that. Senator Moran's office was hardcore pushing this, and they're very active in helping us submit it in a very timely manner. And the other one I believe I had shared with you, Commissioner Ranzau, is the City of Cheney, a grant for construction of some 1,500 feet of linear feet of sewer gravity. And these are some of the examples, and if you have some questions, I'll be happy to share those with you. But before I leave you, I have to mention weatherization. Weatherization is a huge part of our business. In about last 3 years, we've weatherized and improved 622 housing units in Sedgwick County. 62 of our entire production goes to Sedgwick County. So as you can tell, you get an enormous bang for the buck that you guys spend on us. Average investment in each house is over $5,000. As you can see, this pays way more than what you already invest in us. The weatherization budget is just shy of $2 million. Again, as you can see, those numbers we run a very lean, mean, tight organization. 66% of the money directly goes to the homeowners, and 33% is just operating cost. Again, $5,000 average investment. The money that we receive is a pass-through money that we receive through KHRCC at the state level, and they, of course, are funded by a variety of sources, Health and Human Services, Department of Energy, and some large utilities who wish to remain anonymous. In short, Sedgwick County's investment, it pays for some of our staff salaries, matches some of the economic grants, community improvement grants, gives us a little bit of loss reserve ratio for small business, and helps us grow some of our programs. So I'm be happy to take any questions. I have several of our supporters and our staff present to answer any specific questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Are there any questions? Seeing none, what's the will of the board?
I move that we receive and file this report.
I believe I may have some supporters who wish to speak.
I'll second that motion.
May I allow some speakers to
We
speak?
generally limit speakers to 5 minutes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Yeah.
I will not take 5 minutes.
Okay. Please give us
Good
your
morning,
name
County
and address.
Commission.
Okay.
My name is Candace Kottner, and I'm with Global Aviation Technologies, which was mentioned. Our address, for the record, is 1704 South Bayer and 1410 South Airport Road. Good morning, Commission. And thank you for this opportunity to share just a little bit of background on why this is so important. And recently, we were blessed to be able to pay off another SCED-backed loan. So I would just like to share an excerpt from a letter of appreciation that I wrote. In 2002, we began as LJSC Limited and were awarded a $30,000 microloan. This loan would be the first catalyst to help us get our business started. After the business faced some unique challenges with a partner on a major program in 2005, we were forced to close LJSC Limited and reopened bigger and better as Global Aviation Technologies. That happened in June of 2006. Shortly thereafter, we sought out the assistance of our partners again at SCED to assist with some additional funds needed for new product development we were undertaking at that time. Without hesitation, Bill Bolin and Christy Henry were eager to assist. We obtained another $31,500 loan in February of 2012, and again in 2014 received an invitation from Mrs. Henry to apply for the new Kansas Multiplier Loan Program. We received $60,000 to assist us through another challenging time in our business. Had it not been for this program being brought to my attention by Mrs. Henry, I would not have known of the program when we needed it most. Today, these loans have all been paid in full as agreed, and early in the last case. And we cannot thank you all enough for believing in us when others did not. Your service and support are invaluable to small businesses such as ours and for our local community. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, SCED.
One more for you.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Karen Page, 17 East Douglas Avenue in Eastboro. I'd just like to say a few words on behalf of SCED, and just for your information, I've worked with this organization. Well, you all know I've worked here for a number of years, a couple of decades at least, and always played a role in working with SCED. Their role in the community to help small businesses is really invaluable. They offer financial tools that are otherwise not available to small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses for startup and growth. These loans are made available through a partnership between local, thank you, commissioners, and federal partners. These loans are an important tool for small businesses who really otherwise don't have the opportunity to access these necessary financial tools. SCED is also a partner in the implementation of the South Central Kansas Export Plan, playing an important role in outreach into small companies and economic development organizations throughout the community. Small businesses are the backbone of our national and local economy, and their ability to steadily grow and add jobs is an integral part of our economy and our culture. Your continued support of these tools for our small companies is important for our job growth and economic health for our community. I'd like to thank you for your support through these years and hope that you will consider doing so in the future. Thank you, Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Wayne Bell, District Director with the U.S. Small Business Administration here in Wichita. We are located at 220 West Douglas, Suite 450, downtown Wichita. In regards to SCED, they are one of our certified development companies, a nonprofit lender with a specific focus of helping underserved communities. In terms of SBA lending activity for the past 5 years, through SBA's 504 loan program, SCED has delivered 6 504 loans totaling or value approximately $5 million or $4.5 million, accounting for 95 jobs that were either created or retained in that 5-year period. Through the microloan program, SCED has accounted for 102 microloans in the past 5 years, totaling $529,962, which also accounted for 317 jobs. Speaking on behalf of the U.S. Small Business Administration, it is through lending partners such as SCED that we are really able to do our most important work, and that is giving every aspiring business owner the opportunity and access to opportunities to create new jobs and ultimately create thriving businesses. So it is my hope that you will continue to partner and support SCED as we will within the U.S. Small Business Administration. Thank you for your time today, and certainly thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is David Alfaro. I'm the Director of Community Development for Butler County. Address is 121 South Gordy, Suite 202 there in El Dorado. Reason I'm here is, one, acting as a board member, and number two, wanting to ask for your support as well. I know that Butler County has utilized the services of SCED for a number of years, and I'd like to touch on the fact of and expand upon what DJ Engineering has done to date. Like he said, in 1992 or 3, Razul Chowdhury, the owner, needed actually $50,000. He bought the business with 9 employees, short on payroll, went to SCED with our assistance. SCED was gracious enough to lend him the money. And today, as you've seen, they have grown immensely. They have approximately 280 employees in the city of Augusta. All due, and I will say this again, to the support that SCED gave them years ago. And as noted, the majority of those employees live here in Sedgwick County. SCED has also supported numerous loans to small businesses in all of Butler County. They provided assistance through loan administration. They also assisted a company in El Dorado working with through EDA in administrating a $1 million loan to the City of El Dorado's industrial park. So, and with that company as well, majority of those employees came from the City of Wichita and Sedgwick County. So as you can see, they work regionally with a number of counties that sit on the board for SCED, and I think it's very important that you see the impact that these people make and provide the services to the 14-county region area that they service. So once again, it's very important to me personally. It's important to all of Butler County as well, and we think that you understand that it's important to Sedgwick County that you participate as well and provide the funding that has been requested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sherdell Breath at Sedgwick County Economic Developer. SCED sets, they're game changers. They basically allow the community as well as each county to have representatives. And of course, because Sedgwick County is the largest county in this area, we have 4 representatives that are on the board that help with the governing portion of that. And I'd just like to say that I've been on the board for 13, 14 years, and I can say that we have made a tremendous difference as far as helping small businesses. And the thing that I like about it, we don't compete against the banks. We do gap financing. That makes a tremendous difference for those underserved residents of our community that have entrepreneurial ideas and suggestions, and they'd like to, of course, to pursue. And so we stand in the gap and to assist them in that process. If they need an operational capital, they allow them to do that. It may not be a large portion, and some banks don't want that on their portfolio, but SCED is available to do just that. And I could say from my position of serving on that board and seeing it from a tangible standpoint that they have truly served this community quite well. And not only this community, but this region. And I think that we definitely have to look at, from an economic development standpoint, on a regional level. So I would also just continue to put a stamp of approval, on what they're doing, and ask that you guys would consider that as well.
Thank you. So we have a motion to receive and file all those comments
We do have.
collectively. Okay. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Commissioner Unruh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wonder, with the guests we have in the room today, how many are board members of SCED? I mean, can you just raise your hand so we can kind of identify it's how many? Okay. All right, thank you. I just want to get an idea of who was who, so thank you for that.
Thank you very much for your coming in today and speak to us. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item E, request to address the Board of County Commissioners regarding ComCare changes.
Please give us your name and address for the record.
Okay. Cynthia Gardner, address 1133 South Pershing, Wichita, Kansas 67278. Sedgwick County Board of Commissioners, ComCare changes a better future for the mental health clients, patients of Sedgwick County. Good morning, gentlemen. I was born with type 2 bipolar. In 2000, when I was 30 years old, I wrote to my great-aunt Walida, who is my oldest living relative with a mental illness. 3 weeks later, I received a letter on purple lavender stationery dated January 19, 2000. I have it right here in my hand. I picked up the phone, excited, and I called my mother. Aunt Walida wrote me back. 3 days later, I received a call from my mother. Your Aunt Walida got a hold of your uncle's gun and shot herself. She would become the second relative to take her life with a firearm in my family. My great-grandfather shot himself too. Both were in and out of psychiatric hospitals throughout their lives. I keep this letter on top of my nightstand, where I can look at it every night when I put my glasses away, as a reminder of the importance of wanting to live. I have been compliant for over 19 years, which means keeping my medication check appointments and taking my medications as prescribed. This is nearly unheard of in the psychiatric world, and according to them, I am a fascinating case. I share this because I believe in leading by example. We can work on these recommendations in the court of public opinion. We can work on these recommendations in this venue. Or we can roll our sleeves up and work together to provide the Sedgwick County residents with severe and persistent mental illness the best care possible. At the May 20th, 2015 meeting, one of the leaders of EMS, Emergency Medical Service, spoke about how they have the best equipment and professionally trained medical staff to provide the best medical care to the Sedgwick County residents. Yet, the Sedgwick County residents with mental illness are not even worth having AEDs, automatic external defibrillators, on the patient transportation vehicles. Hopefully the majority of you will advocate for the mental health clients, patients of Sedgwick County, and do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. When will the AEDs be on the Apple Bus Company patient transportation vehicles? May 24, 2012, Apple Bus Company received a 17% increase in compensation, yet they are not providing new services. Then you wonder why the county has budget problems. Do the first aid kits have one-way pocket valve? Do the first aid kits have one-way valve pocket masks that are required when performing rescue breathing? If a 16-year-old lifeguard can learn to use an AED, then Apple Bus Company employees can learn to use one too. When will the clause be removed from the contract that gives Apple Bus Company employees any kind of power to override a qualified mental health professional whether a patient is transported in restraints? When will the ComCare website be changed to reflect the words client and or patient rather than consumer? What is being done about Marilyn Cook's employment with the county? Leopards do not change their spots. If Marilyn cared and advocated for her clients' patients, then she would not have allowed the clause to be incorporated.
Excuse me, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, I think we should remind the speaker that we do not allow personal attacks in our comments from the podium.
I'll allow her to proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. My husband had to lay across the seat of the Apple bus van with his hands cupped behind his back as he tried to get comfortable. This had been going on for years. The only difference was that this time Comcare and Apple Bus Company got caught. This was going on even before 2006. Gentlemen, you have my home address, my post office box address, my email, and my cell phone number. Please give us some good news.
Ms. Gardner, I appreciate you coming here today. I want to say a couple things. I know you've brought up Ms. Cook on several occasions. I would encourage you to make an appointment to speak with her directly and talk about some of these issues if you're so inclined. The county is not going to terminate the employment of Marilyn Cook from Comcare. So I just want you to know where we stand right now, but I appreciate all the recommendations and information you put in this, and I'm willing to recognize your right to come and address us, and I'll continue to do so, but you need to know where we stand.
Okay. Are any of the recommendations being considered?
We have evaluated all of your recommendations, and will continue to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I do make the motion we receive and file.
I'll second that motion. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Next item, please.
Appointments. Item F, resolution reappointing Dave Jones to the Sedgwick County Physical and Developmental Disabilities Advisory Board.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Poon, Acting County Councilor. You have before you a resolution reappointing Dave Jones to the Physical and Developmental Disabilities Advisory Board. This is Chairman Ransaw's appointment, and the resolution's in proper form. We'd ask that you adopt the resolution.
Commissioners, I move we take the recommended action.
I'd second that.
Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye.
Good morning, Commissioners. We got Dave Jones here with us. Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Sedgwick County Physical and Developmental Disabilities Advisory Board, so help me God.
I do swear.
All right. Thanks, Commissioners. If you'd like to say anything.
Good morning. I just want to say we sure appreciate all the support that the Commission gives to the CDDO. I'm amazed at the job that Dee and Jeanette do, keeping up with all the new regs and the MCOs and all the stuff they're having to deal with. They do an amazing job, and I appreciate your confidence in me to continue on the advisory board. Thanks.
Thank you for your willingness to serve. Next item, please.
Item G, resolution reappointing Daryl Roberts to the Sedgwick County Mental Health Advisory Board.
Commissioners, Mike Poon, Acting County Councilor. This is a reappointment of Darrell Roberts to the Mental Health Advisory Board. This is Commissioner Unruh's appointment. The resolution's in proper form. We'd ask that you adopt the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we adopt the resolution. The fact that my appointee, Mr. Roberts, is a strong KU fan, notwithstanding. Okay. But as a purple guy, Darrell, appreciate it. But I'd like to make the motion that we appoint Mr. Roberts.
I'd second that as well.
Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye.
Good morning.
Good morning. I've already lost this.
I'm trying to figure out if I can give it to you if they're not. All right. I do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Sedgwick County Mental Health Advisory Board, so help me God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I would just like to thank the board for letting me serve. This is a reappointment for me. I'd finished out a year last year of a previous term of somebody who had left, and I was glad to be able to serve this time with Dave Unruh asking me to serve again. I come with a little different perspective of the whole thing. I was on the governing board for Sedgwick County Mental Health over 25 years ago. Now I'm on the advisory board, and serving on the advisory board this past year, I was completely shocked at what I found on that advisory board and with Sedgwick County Mental Health. And it wasn't bad shock, it was good shock. Back 25 years ago, the governing board was at each other's throats and at the director's throats the whole time. And I don't know if any of you had any input or any member. Probably most of you were. I'm older than most of you, so that goes back quite a ways. The new board, or this new advisory board, is a very cohesive group of people. And the thing I found, back 25 years ago, I visited the sites. I wouldn't have invited any of my friends to go, if any, to the county mental health sites at that time. Now, the one thing, the vast improvement that's helped is that there is no smoking any sites now. At that time, there were cigarette burns on the carpet, cigarette burns on the upholstery. It was utter chaos in these centers. Last year, when I was visiting, is what really shocked me. I came into an atmosphere of professional care. And the offices are clean. They look like a doctor's office. In fact, we've had a couple of people that I have met during this last year that I've said that they had problems with kids, but they couldn't take them to psychiatrists, or actually they weren't kids, they were kids, but they were older adults. And I said, call Sedgwick County Mental Health, call ComCare, because I think now you will get professional treatment there. So that's what surprised me. From that aspect to this aspect to currently, what I'm hoping is to see a continuation of that care going on, because I think the citizens of Wichita and of Sedgwick County, along with actually what the ComCare works with throughout the state, is getting a very good care, and I think it's a good way to pay the taxpayers' money. So I do appreciate that. Now, to get to the more important question of KU, I will state, when I grew up, I lived next to Wichita State, and my parents told me when you go to college, you grow up. So they said anywhere but Wichita. So that's why I ended up at KU. My kids were the same way. I had one daughter at KU. God help us, I had one daughter at K-State, and the third daughter decided that she didn't want any part of it, and so she went to Drake and Des Moines, and so as a result, we're a very scattered family. But I do appreciate your supporting me on this new appointment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item H, accept the resignation of Rick Rakowski from the Board of Directors of the South Central Kansas Economic Development District.
Thank you, Commissioners. Mike Bethune, Acton County Councilor. We have received a resignation by Mr. Rakowski from the Board of South Central Kansas Economic Development District. I believe from the backup that he's moved out of the community, and we'd ask that you accept the resignation.
What's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the resignation.
I second that as well.
Madam Clerk, call the vote, please.
Commissioner Unruh?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Next item, please.
New business. Item I. Contract for a household hazardous waste remote collection event on June 20, 2015 for City of Hayesville, Kansas.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Erlenwine, Department of Environmental Resources. Sedgwick County has a household hazardous waste facility located at 801 Stillwell. This is a place where residents can take unwanted items such as paints, oils, cleaners, old gasoline, fluorescent light bulbs, items like that for proper recycling and disposal. So we encourage people to go there. The facility's open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 3. But to help better serve our community, we also offer 5 remote household hazardous waste events every year. Our third event is coming up this Saturday in the city of Hayesville. It will be located at 200 West Grand, which is where the Hayesville City Hall is. So we encourage citizens in that area to go there. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday, the 20th. So again, if you're not sure what materials to take to an event like that, go to sedgwickcounty.org, our website, and see a list of what you can and cannot take, or call 660-7458 for more information. The City of Hayesville has approved this contract, and I'd recommend your approval and ask the chairman to sign. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Susan, I see the next item is the same thing for the City of Derby. Would you like to speak on that as well?
Sure. On June 27th, we'll be having a household hazardous waste event in the city of Derby at their Derby High School, located at 920 North Rock Road in Derby. It's from 9 to 1 o'clock on the 27th, and we really encourage residents to go there who live in that area or around that area, take the material, and Derby has approved that contract, and I'd recommend you to sign.
So we have one June 20th
And
in City
another-
Hayesville and 27th in Derby. So
Right.
they have two shots of it down south.
2 shots, and if you can't make those, we encourage people to go to the facility and actually use the swap shop there. And you don't have to take material to use the swap shop. It's material that other people have brought in that's still good condition. The labels are readable. They can come there and get that material for free, and all of these services are free to the community.
All right.
Commissioner Howell?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say I'm excited to see the second one of these being in the middle of District 5, and I appreciate the program. I think it's going to be really good for a lot of the people who live in the southeast part of the county. And so, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion we would approve the contracts for items I and J for these household hazardous waste remote site collection events.
Second.
Motion a second to do these both at the same time. Can we do that, Mr. Counselor? Yes. Okay. We have a motion a second. Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next item, please.
Item K, amendment to extend existing grant from the Kansas Department of Health and Environment in the amount of $1,020,000 to provide outreach, prevention, and intervention services through the Health Department's Healthy Babies Program and the Healthy Families American Program at the Kansas Children's Service League.
Commissioner Unruh?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would, with the board's agreement, I would like to move that we defer this item to our next meeting. I apologize, but I would like to seek more information before we discuss this. So I'd move that we defer it till our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Which is July 1st. Is there any problem with that, Mr. Manager?
No, I believe that, as we discussed yesterday, that would work.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh,
Aye.
Commissioner Norton,
Aye.
Commissioner Howell,
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. So we'll take that up July 1st. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item L, consideration of grant in the amount of $306,097 for the 2015 Edward J. Byrne Justice Assistance Grant, 2015 Public Safety Enhancement Program.
Good morning, Chairman Ranzo, Commissioners. I'm Mitch Kolf, Management Intern in the County Manager's Office, and I'm here today to present to you the 2015 Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, also known as the JAG Grant. Currently, the City of Wichita and Sedgwick County are classified as disparate jurisdictions. This means they receive funding in one lump sum. The sum can then be divided up through a memorandum of understanding between the city and county. The total amount of funding available for both jurisdictions for 2015 is $306,097. Sedgwick County and the City of Wichita have decided to split the amount 50-50. Sedgwick County's share for the year is $153,048.50. Today, in addition to accepting staff's recommendation to accept the grant, we also ask that you conduct a public hearing to accept public comments as required by the grant. The JAG grant allows funding for a variety of components. These components include law enforcement, prosecution and court, prevention and education, corrections, drug treatment, planning evaluations, technology improvements, and victim and witness programs. We received funding requests from 5 different departments. These departments are as follows. 6 items from the Regional Forensic Science Center, 2 from the District Attorney, 1 from Corrections, 1 from Courthouse Police, and 6 from the Sheriff. Total requests were $153,070.68. After submission, these requests went to an internal advisory board. This advisory board was made up of elected officials and county staff. This board met on May 28th, and it consisted of Chairman Ranzow, Sheriff Jeff Easter, Richard Powell, Marv Duncan, Darrell Haynes, Melinda Wilson, Mark Masterson, Dr. Shelley Stedman, David Miller, Marty Hughes, and myself. Normally, these members review requests, prioritize, and determine which projects are most deserving of funding. This year, the requests were only $22.18 over our allocated amount of $153,048. As you can see, the only difference from the department requests and the recommendation by the advisory board is that courthouse police had their requests reduced by $22.18 to match our allocation. Now a little bit of information about what this money is going to buy. The Regional Forensic Science Center submitted 6 items. They are as follows: a data analysis computer upgrade for toxicology mass spectrometers for $32,000, 2 replacement printers for $1,200, an automatic microvial crimper for $1,500, a drug desiccator for $850, a leak detector for gas chromatographs for $1,500, and a copy machine for the drug ID lab for $6,000. This adds up to a total of $43,050. The purpose of these requests is to require necessary equipment to support forensic analysis of evidence from criminal activity for all municipalities. These items will increase capabilities and timeliness of forensic service. The district attorney submitted 2 items: education materials for children and adults for $2,539, and a request to purchase $1,264.90 of electronic equipment for a total of $3,803.90. The purpose of these items is the district attorney's office distributes crime prevention and educational brochures to children and adults through multiple community agencies and events. And there are also 2 separate equipment projects. First, a Blu-ray disc duplicator in order to provide copies of evidence during discovery, and 2 microphones to be used for depositions, interviews, and trainings. Corrections submitted a request for drug testing and electronic monitoring for adult intensive supervision programs for $40,000. The purpose was without additional resources, it will be difficult to continue to provide these services at current levels because drug testing and electronic monitoring are needed. The sheriff submitted 6 items, and they were an Edge FX diagramming software for $14,754, range classroom update for $4,798, generator installation at property and evidence for $16,650, digital mobile video surveillance for $15,475, Avon gas mask for $3,704, and a cyanocrylate fuming chamber for $4,434, for a total of $59,816.78. The purpose of these items, the Edge FX diagramming software is used to determine things like bullet trajectories and diagram car crashes. The range classroom is currently using outdated and borrowed equipment. The generator at property and evidence is needed to protect sensitive refrigerated items. The digital mobile video surveillance will increase transparency and safety of deputies and inmates. Avon gas mask will protect deputies from airborne threats, and the cyanocrylate fuming chamber will help collect fingerprints on large, bulky items. Finally, the courthouse police submitted 1 item, an access control for the main lobby and employee entrances to the courthouse for $6,377.82. This will enhance safety of the Sedgwick County Courthouse by allowing employees to scan their identification cards as they enter the courthouse to verify that they have valid access. It is staff's recommendation that you open the public hearing and allow comments, then accept the advisory board's recommendation for disbursement of funds, as well as approve the agreement with the City of Wichita. If you have any questions about the projects, I believe there are representatives from the departments here.
Thank you, Mitch. Commissioners, are there any questions for Mitch before we open the public hearing? Seeing none, I'll open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item. Anyone would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and take comments or motions from the bench. What's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we take the recommended action.
I'll second that motion. Seeing no comments, Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh?
Aye.
Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Chairman Ransall.
Aye. Thank you, Mitch. Next item, please.
Item M, 2015 Appraised Values and Appeals Summary Presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Borchard, County Appraiser. Commissioner Peter John had requested that after we certified the values to the clerk that we give an update on where the appraised values ended up and how the appeals process went. So just want to review our key dates in the property tax calendar again. We presented March 1 a report on real property value notices. Since that time, we have received renditions on all personal property. We have completed all the real property informal hearings. We've noticed personal property owners of their values, completed informal hearings for personal property, and Monday we certified the appraised values to the county clerk. Just a quick review of the equalization process. I'm going to focus on the three or four primary value types that make up 98% of the assessed value in Sedgwick County, which is residential real property, commercial real property, commercial industrial machinery and equipment, public utility, and then we're required to appraise the rest of those property types, but they only make up about 2% of the property in the county. The appraisal problem, this is just a diagram to kind of show the history of residential development in the county. It's a box plot is what it is, and you can see those blue bars represent the interquartile range of the values within those year builds. You can see as the county has developed, the average or median values have increased. We've got that same chart for commercial property. I've also posted the median appraised value and the average appraised value for commercial property on there. And you can see that nobody really owns the median or average appraised value on commercial property. Its development was a little bit, about 10 years behind the residential development in Sedgwick County. So again, that's a big part of our appraisal problem. We also measure inequities in the equalization process. We look at what we call vertical inequities, where we're comparing the appraisal to sale price ratio, and along the x-axis we look at price range. If we applied or looked at a regression line on that data, and if that line is flat, then we really don't have any price-related bias. If it's going downhill, like it's indicating there might be some bias that needs correction. We also look at horizontal inequities. As an example here, I just used 4 neighborhoods and the median appraisal to sale price ratio for those neighborhoods. You can see that neighborhood 1, the median was right about 105%. 2 was just above 95. 3 was closer to 90, and 4 was at 95. So we use this process looking at all types of subcategories of property, and our goal is to adjust the ones that are too high downward and the ones that are too low upward. So So based on all those equalization processes, as we mentioned in the earlier report, residential property saw about 85% of the properties either saw a decrease or no change in value, and about 75% of commercial properties received a decrease or no change in value. So the impact of the equalization on assessed value, you can see in 2015 that the majority of the assessed value growth was from new construction. There was a slight increase in existing property value, less than compared to 14, but it is positive. Prior 2009 to 2013, there was actual value loss on existing property.
And Mike?
Yes.
The fact that it went down and it's very small increase, is that concerning? I mean, could that indicate that we're heading in the wrong direction next year, or no? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a little too early to tell. I mean, our ratios through June were right about 95% on both commercial and residential property. So it's still, through the first half of the year, it appears to be flat.
Okay.
So these are the values that we certified to the clerk Monday. 3 primary categories of property. Real property assessed right at $3.9 billion. That was an increase of 1.61%. As you saw from the prior slide, most of that was due to new construction. Personal property in 2015 was right around $250 million. It was down 7.2%. And state assessed was right around $213 million, up over 12%. So the net gain in assessed value was 1.56%.
Do we know how that 1.56% compares to what we had predicted or calculated in budgeting, Mr. Manager?
I was just sitting here trying to, I'll have to check. I'm thinking it's 1.9, but I need to, let me.
You can email us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Peter John had also asked that you give a report on the appeals process. This line chart shows just the volume of appeals since 2004. These are the hearings that occur in our office after value notices go out. 2015 was the lowest number recorded since reappraisal, and it was about 1% of the total properties in Sedgwick County that appealed. This graph is going to show, this is all classes of property at the informal hearings, and it compares the appraised value of those properties and the number of hearings over the last 4 years. This chart compares the appraised values and volume for just residential properties. And this is the total appraised values of those properties, not the difference between our appraised value and the opinion of the property owner. This is for commercial property values and volume of appeals. 2015 was right at $1 billion total appraised value. This chart is comparing value and volume of hearings for farm properties. And the final one on the informal hearings is for agricultural properties. Now, if property owners are not satisfied with the results of these informal hearings, if the appraised value is less or equal to or less than $3 million, they can take it to the Board of Tax Appeals Small Claims Division. These hearing officers are appointed by the Board of Tax Appeals, and most of the time they're held locally here in Sedgwick County. This is the fee schedule for those appeals. You see that single-family, residential, farmstead, or manufactured homes are all exempt from any fee. And ag land cannot be appealed to small claims. So this chart's going to compare the last 3 years of value and volume at the small claims. This is for all property types. And we'll break it down by residential, commercial, if folks are not satisfied with the with their results at the small claims, or they decide to skip the small claims division, then they can go straight to the regular Board of Tax Appeals. Again, this is the fee schedule for those appeals. The single-family farm homesteads are exempt from any fee, and the rest of the fees depend on the appraised value of the property. This is the total Board of Tax Appeals value and volume for the last 3 years. And we'll break it down by residential, commercial value and volume, farm homesteads value and volume, and agricultural land. So just to conclude, we certified those appraised values to the clerk on the 15th. So we turned the roll over to them. So now they go about their business of certifying the abstracts to PVD. The governing bodies will certify the budgets to them, and the county clerk will certify the tax roll to the treasurer in November. That concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Norton?
Mike, go back to the slide that has residential, commercial, and ag increases and everything. It's towards the front somewhere.
Is this the slide?
Yeah. ag increase 62%. Is that all ag land in Sedgwick County?
That's the number of properties that had an increase in appraised value
Okay.
in their 2015 appraised value.
And who sets that value?
That value is calculated and provided to the counties from property valuation divisions, Department of Revenue.
So that's not set your office does not set that number?
We don't set the value number. We do data collect the use and the soils and the water usage.
Do you have a range, if 62% of them were raised, do you have a range of how much percent they were raised?
If I recall, it was somewhere between 6 and 10%, I think.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Howell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking at, the slides aren't really numbered, but I think it's slide 21 and 22 on about the appeals summary for spring equalization, appeals from farm appraised value and volume. These slides stand out in my mind. There was such a sharp increase in 2014 and then a sharp decline in 2015. On both of these slides, one deals with the spring equalization appeals and then spring appeals agricultural appraised value. I don't know if you see those two slides or not. I think I'm not sure where you are there, but that's one of them. And there's the other one. Well, yeah, that.
These are the spring appeals.
Yeah, go back one more slide, please.
The farm.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So those two slides have a tremendous amount of property being appealed, and the appeals are way up in 2014 and then drop back down in 2015. Is there anything legislatively or anything we've done as a county that would drive that type of interest and that type of volatility in these two trend lines?
Well, 2014 was the first year that we actually saw a significant increase in ag land values. So both the farm, if the property is a farm property, I mean, it's just going to have ag land associated with it, and then just the pure ag values also saw that increase in 2014. This also was the year that, based on our horizontal equity analysis, we identified some properties that were significantly undervalued in the rural areas, and those properties were the ones that had the farm utility buildings.
So these, like the outbuildings we've been hearing about, so a lot of the complaints that we've received, some of the people who've talked about this said their value depends on the situation, I'm sure, but some of the values went up, sometimes 300%, 400%, 500% because of the age of their building and that type of thing. So is that what drove a lot of this activity here?
Yes.
Is that policy still the same as it was, or has that changed in any way?
No, it has not changed.
Okay. Would you indicate, was this a statewide movement or statewide policy, or is this something Sedgwick County is doing independently?
This is something we identified locally in Sedgwick County as an inequity, and we corrected that in 2014, and we remain using the same depreciation tables as we did in 2014.
Do you have data to show us what the years of depreciation tables would look like for other counties in the state of Kansas?
We can collect that.
I'd actually like to see that, if you don't mind. And then I guess thinking back to Commissioner Peter John's question, with respect to the number of appeals, do we have any data letting us know exactly how many of these appeals resulted in some type of a correction? Any type of report on that?
For the spring appeals, on residential properties, roughly 55% received a reduction in value. On commercial properties, 35% received a reduction.
Okay. And that's just Sedgwick County. Is it Sedgwick County level, or is this at BODA?
This is just Sedgwick County informal hearings.
Okay. Do we track that as it goes up to BODA? Do we track that further in other additional numbers for that level of appeal?
Yes.
Okay.
For small claims, these are just like 3-year averages. On small claims for residential property, roughly 60% Saw a reduction on commercial properties, 50%.
Would you mind us putting that data in some type of an email and sending that out to us? I'd sure appreciate getting that data so I could look at this a little more closely. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all my questions.
Commissioners, what's the will of the board?
I move we receive and file.
Second. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Thank you, Mike. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Commissioners, Ron Holt, Acting County Manager, you have the consent agenda items N through W. Recommend approval.
What's the will of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. Next, for legislative issues, I guess the only thing I'll say that the legislature is done, and we're currently evaluating the part that puts a lid on spending, exactly what that means when it takes effect, what all it means, and staff is looking at that, and we'll kind of get back with this at a later date. Is that correct, Mr. Manager?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So we'll move to the other portion of the meeting. Is there anything for the other portion of the meeting from commissioners? Commissioner Unruh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I just want to announce that I was notified that Bel Air was recognized as 2015 Playful City USA Community. I think that some agency recognizes about 241 communities each year, and so, approximately 50 per state. And Bel Air was identified as one of those that have such things as hopscotch sidewalks and structured recreation programs and citywide play days and those sorts of things. So I know Bel Air works hard on that, making themselves a very family-oriented and welcoming community, and so congratulations to Bel Air.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else? Seeing none, we'll move to the executive session. I do believe we have need for executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that I move that the Board of County Commissioners recesses into the executive session for 30 minutes to consider consultation with legal counsel on matters privileged in the attorney-client relationship relating to pending claims and litigation, legal advice, and contract negotiations, and that the Board of County Commissioners return to this room from the executive session no sooner than 10:46 p.m. or a.m. 10:46 a.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the vote.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. We now stand in recess for executive session. now back from executive session. I call the meeting back to order. No binding action was taken while in executive session. Mr. Boone, you have an item for us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We would like a year agreement to pay for settlement for a workers' comp settlement to an employee by the name of Lucas Powell, who was injured on March 11, 2013 by a gunshot pellet in the eye. The amount that we have tentatively agreed to with Mr. Powell is $82,051.50. This is still subject to approval by a workers' comp judge and still leaves medical open, but today I would like to ask for your approval of that settlement.
I'll make a motion that we take the recommended action.
Second.
Any comments from commissioners or questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the vote, please.
Commissioner Unruh.
Aye.
Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairman Ransaw.
Aye. This motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, anything else to come before the board?
No, sir.
All right. Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.